Good morning. It's Marcy with Private Banking Concepts. I'm just going to talk today on a topic about fear. And I know I've shared this in the past, but it really came to light again today for me. And have you ever been afraid of something? Have you ever been so fearful that you haven't been able to actually move? You know what? As I was doing my studying with Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher in the paradigm shift courses that we are truly enjoying, he talked about being on a diving board, and it just brought back memories for me. So my dad, years ago, when I was growing up, managed a swimming pool in a little central Illinois community pool. So each morning, my brother and sister and I would be able to go in before anybody else was even around. And my dad was such an amazing man. He took such good care of us. He was so kind and gentle, but very determined to help us to grow and learn. So it was a beautiful, sunny summer morning, and Dad said, "I really want you to go and dive off the high dive today." And again, my heart was pounding. I was like, "Dad, I just can't." I knew I could dive off the low dive. I'd done it. I was familiar with it. I knew what it felt like. But I had jumped off the high dive, but I'd never dove off the high dive. So gently, he said, "Go on. I want you to go ahead and go up the ladder." Well, I don't know if you remember high dives and how it even feels, but I put my first foot on the cold steel ladder as I began to make my way up the ladder. And I'd already been in the pool, so by now my teeth are chattering. And I'm hanging on and I'm gripping for that ladder of what is it that's going to happen to me once I get on top of this diving board. So I get to the top of the diving board, and my dad is down at the bottom just encouraging me, sharing that it's okay. All I want you to do is walk to the end, and I want you to fall over into your dive. I stood at the back of the board, and I'm shivering, and the water is dripping off. And again, I shared it was a beautiful summer morning, but my teeth are chattering so hard. I'm so cold because of my fear. I walked to the end of the diving board, and I stood there. Even though I felt the board moving just a little bit, I stood there and I retreated. And again, I stood there. I walked to the end of the diving board, and I retreated. And my dad continued to just be gentle and kind and encouraging, but yet there was a firmness. I want you to dive off of the diving board. So I go to the end of the diving board, and I took a deep breath, and I decided if I don't do this, then I'm never going to do it. So I put my hands above my head, and I fell into a dive into the deep end. And you know what? In my life, I feel like I've fallen into the deep end many times. And I've had so many fears, so many trepidations in this journey of mine on, have I made the right decision? Am I making the right decision? And yes, I've even had those trembling fears of job choices, of directions, of relationships that I've chosen to be in. But I just want to encourage you that if you've been in a fearful place, think back on how you felt when you conquered that fear. And one of the things that I'm feeling this morning after my lesson of my thoughts and my feelings is, I can do anything. Yes, it might be fearful to walk up to the edge of that diving board, and I'm sure I'll shiver. I'm sure that I will retreat once, maybe twice, but I know that I will walk to the end of that diving board and fall off gently into the deep end. So at Private Banking Concepts, it is truly a money concept that a lot of people don't know. It's kind of like being on a diving board, not knowing exactly, do I dive in or do I stay with what I know? Do I feel the feeling of security, of guarantee, of where my life is going financially, or do I retreat? So I just want to encourage you today, just stop and think, where are you in your life's journey? Are you in a fearful place? Are you in a place where you've conquered that diving board? Are you in a place of trepidation at the backside of the diving board wondering, how can I go to the end of the board and just gently fall into the deep end? I just want to encourage you, take a look at private banking concepts. I think you'll be surprised at what you learn. So think about today conquering your fear. Have a great day.
Fox.